I just walked out of my brand new Tuff Shed, and that is the sponsor of today's video. Tuff Shed came out to my place and tore down my old shed and built this beautiful new shed in the same day. It is actually quite an impressive. So we need to step back in time and see what this looked like before. I have never really talked about my old shed because it was such a disaster. And in this video, you're going to see the whole process of cleaning this area up, looking inside my old shed, and how they built me a brand new shed in a single day. Before we jump to the past, I should mention that Tuff Shed is giving away a shed worth up to $4,000 to one of you watching this video. I'll give you more details at the end, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Today is day one of my shed saga, and it is cleanup day. I have to start cleaning up all the stuff around my shed before I even get inside, because I definitely have to clean that out too. But for now, I need to make space around the shed so I have room to work with. And right here is going to be the door of the new shed. One of the things I have to do before the shed gets delivered is actually trim back this calamansi tree. The citrus tree has been here for who knows how many years, decades for sure. There's actually 2 of them planted in this planter with many primary branches now becoming basically their own tree. So I've kind of scoped it out a little bit. My plan is to remove some of these branches right over here, like this one, and maybe even a little bit further up. That should open up the canopy here, make it easier for the installation, and get all of this random stuff out of the way when they come to install the shed. So I'm gonna get this giant chainsaw on a stick here and start cutting this tree down into small pieces to make it easier to throw away instead of one big piece at the beginning, even though that is more satisfying. Now today I do have to go in there, or at least start to get in there, and clean out whatever the heck is in there. I do know a little bit about what's in here because I have sort of thrown stuff in this opening, very beginning section. I really have zero clue what's on the left side, the right side, the very back of the shed. I've never added to that, just the very basic stuff at the beginning. Now in the process of cleaning the outside, I also discovered something interesting here, which is that there's a year carved into the cement and it says 1974. So I think this is 50 years old. It looks and feels like 50 years old. I don't know if this shed is originally 50 years old or just the concrete here, but one of the worst things about the shed, beyond the fact that it's full of rat poop and all sorts of other scary things, is that it was never tall enough to actually really walk in, and these doors have always been a nightmare. So anything that goes in here just goes in here to die, not actually be useful. Just watch how I could open the door and see how far I could even open it. It takes 2 hands to do it. So, wow, that's the furthest I've ever opened that side. Let's try the other one. Yeah. Any more than that, and I might not be able to close it. Now, luckily, they are going to fully tear down this shed. Oh my God, it's terrifying in here. I'm gonna switch into something a little bit better, and we're going full respirator. I am not messing around in here. I am taking every precaution I can to make sure that I don't catch some weird disease in here. And let's get started. I'm also gonna be wearing gloves because I don't want to touch something that's in here. I don't know what's happening here. So let's figure it out. Clearly we bought this a long time ago with the idea of organizing tools. This never happened because I didn't really have anywhere to put it. So I am saving this to put for the new shed. Unfortunately, so far it's been pretty boring, nothing that exciting, not even as much rat poop as I was expecting. So I'm gonna keep hauling some of this junk out, and once we get to the little stuff out in the corner here, we'll do that one on camera. We are in the shed now at the home stretch of cleaning out all this junk, and I'm at the sort of hazardous waste part of this whole journey. So all of this stuff here is stuff that I can't just throw in the trash can, can't throw in a dumpster. I have to bring it into the local hazardous waste throwaway facilities. Luckily, that does exist here in San Diego. I have 2 days of the week to do it in a very tight window, but I can actually do it. And that is the whole purpose of this new Tuff Shed, is that I will be able to organize it and then create places for these things. If anything interesting comes up here, I'll show you guys, but for the most part, it's things like mineral spirits and old paints and wood finishes and stuff like that. One of the crazy things I found in this shed after coming inside and trying to clean it up is that this duct tape here was used to actually seal the roof, because there's all these holes throughout here. There's little chunks of duct tape that were trying to block the rain. I doubt it did much. This looks like it's been fully cooked and fried. It's been here for who knows how long. So a couple things I'm looking forward to is having a roof that doesn't leak And also having a roof that doesn't feel like it's enclosing around me the whole time. This thing is ridiculously short inside, very impractical. I'm not a big fan. So I'm gonna get this duct tape in the trash and try to get as much of this shed into the trash as I can. The day has finally arrived. Today is the rip out of this old, rusty, broken shed and replacement with the new Tuff Shed. So I'm gonna do a quick walk around because you'll never see this property this clean. Like, this is a new level of cleanliness. I fully cleared the area to get ready for this installation. So let me show you that. Over here, you've never even seen this concrete ever, because I haven't seen it in a long time. So here it is, all cleared out. This way it makes it very easy for them to install this new shed, because they want all this clearance to pop up the new building, basically. And this is what we're working with. Fully cleared all the way around, 360 degrees, plenty of space. I moved all the stuff that will probably end up in the shed out on the edges here, but I can't say I'm gonna be sad to see this thing go, because I hate it. One of the reasons I hate it is, let me just walk right into it and you'll very quickly see. If I come in, like, this is my eye level. So I can't even walk into the shed without hitting my head. So very happy to see this. I think they brought a sledgehammer for me to actually tear it down myself. But happy days. New shed on the way. No more holes in the ceiling. And I'm looking forward to that as well. There is one thing from this old shed that I do plan, got a duck on keeping. And that is this little angel here. It's kept this shed up this whole time. It's gonna keep up the new shed.
You ready, Jacques?
I'm ready. It's gonna be the inaugural sledge hit here, and then I'll let the professionals do the rest. But I definitely want to take at least one swing. So let's see. That felt pretty good. We do another one on the roof, little bonus hit. All right, one more. Satisfying, for sure. After I took a couple sheds at the swing myself, I decided to step back and let the pros take over. Within literally minutes, they were able to entirely tear down my old shed, which they broke down into sections and hauled away for me. This is one of the services that Tuff Shed offers called Rip and Replace, which meant that I didn't have to figure out how to haul this old shed to the landfill myself, which I definitely appreciated. Once they got the old shed out of the way, they got started on the foundation, which is made out of stainless steel. This means that there is no ground contact with any of the wood on the shed, which means no early rotting of the foundation, and as an added benefit, no insects or rodents will be able to call this stainless steel foundation home. Once the foundation was built and leveled, they began putting up the walls, which are pre-assembled and built locally by Tuff Shed. They simply stand the walls up, nail them together, and to the base of the foundation. And once they get that up, they could begin putting up the roof trusses, and it really started to look like they were building a miniature home in my backyard. Meanwhile, the exterior details were being finished up, such as the trim boards around the windows and also the soffits around the roof. And one thing that I really appreciated is that while they were working, they covered up any scratches or nail holes with a fresh coat of paint, so everything looked like it was really a homogeneous structure. Now on the inside, they began building all of the customization features that I added using their online building tool. I made sure to add 2 windows as well as 2 skylights to let in a ton of natural light. And on the actual interior, I added the workbench, shelving, and pegboard, which I plan on using to hang up my tools. All of these features combined, in theory, should make me more organized. So now let's go over how I plan on actually using my Tuff Shed and what I plan to do with it. And here we are back in the future where my new shed is beautifully placed in my yard. Now, full disclosure guys, I did reach out to Tuff Shed. They agreed to do this video in exchange of the shed. I also filmed some promotional material for them. Maybe I'll be in a commercial you might see in the future, who knows? But anyway, the shed was given to me as a gift from them in exchange for this video. So, full disclosure, I do not want to hide anything from you guys, but I do absolutely love the shed. And honestly, now that I see the whole quality and the build of the final Tuff Shed, I have to say, it is actually a lot nicer than any other shed I've seen. So I want to walk through, tell you guys my plans for how I'm going to use this shed, what I'm going to do with it. I might even make some modifications, and they were totally cool about it. It's one thing I really respected. Asked them if I could do whatever I want, and they said, our job is to put the shed there. The end user gets to do whatever the heck they want after that. So let's get into it. I'm super excited for this. First, we have to give props to Cosmo here, who is the guardian, the protector of the shed, and he absolutely loves it just like I do. But let's get into this. Over here, we have the window and 2 vents. So I have the vent up there, the bottom vent. This will allow air to just move through the shed easily, as well as obviously having a window. And there's one on this other corner as well. Now, as I wrap around this, I do have plans to add some sort of rain capture system. I do have 2 skylights here, which are providing me tons of natural light. And one thing I wanted to show you is that you could see that right now it's about 2:30 in the afternoon, and these guys are in shade. So it's letting passive light through, but it's not baking, it's not pushing all that afternoon heat into my shed. In fact, the reason why the shed belongs where it does is because this is literally the shadiest part of my entire yard. Even right now, there's nowhere with full sun, so this is the best use of this space. As I move around, you'll also see there's another vent over here. So that is, again, passive ventilation to just let some of that heat escape and to allow this whole building to breathe. It's one of the things I probably wouldn't have considered if I tried to build this myself. Now, this is where this used to exist in the context of my old shed, and it actually makes perfect sense to be out here again. Right now, you can see that there is no direct sun hitting this. This is a north-facing wall. So all of these trays will totally be fine living out here, living their best life. Now we get to the front. I've got the door with some windows on there just to let a little bit more light through. Again, another vent. And one of the things I didn't realize, I'll show you when we get inside, but basically the whole roof up there is open, and that whole roof cap is actually a vent. So extra heat can escape. I'm super pleased with all the ventilation that they included on this, because I didn't want this to be a very hot shed, and I don't think it will be. Wrapping away around on this side, we have the other window, and I'm actually going to be decorating this place a little bit, because over here, I actually just shot a podcast this morning for the Beat podcast that we host, and this is a perfect backdrop for me. One of the problems I've had in my yard is that I have a lot of spotty sun. So I have areas that have bright sun, areas that have some shade, and it's very difficult to film into it when you're doing a long segment like a podcast where I'm sitting down and talking to somebody for 40 minutes. So this is also going to enable me to make better content for everyone as well. So I'm super excited. I already got string lights going on it, which I love. This whole area underneath the shed has now become the hangout zone. So it is a little bit, actually it's not that dirty for me, but it's a little bit disorganized right now, but it is a great hangout zone, and we've already tested it out for a party. So now for the moment of truth, let's go inside and I'll show you exactly what I plan on doing with the inside of the shed. I have not set this up yet, but they did give me this digital keypad lock, and that's pretty exciting for when I take breaks. But let's go ahead and pop in here. I've got this whole entire pegboard wall, which I am so excited for. If you know me, I just have stuff all over the place and I desperately need help getting organized. So I think this is the ticket here. It'll help me get all of my hand tools out of the elements where they just keep getting rusty instead of being useful. As we wrap around this side, I have a little bit more pegboard on the section under the window here, on this wall, around the window. I love the fact that they were able to do this. I couldn't tell on their online planner if this was allowed, but they told me when I spoke to them, they're like, we know if you put pegboard here in a window, that we'll just cut around it. And this is how it came out. Now, it does look messy in here, and that's because I have not made use of the pegboard yet. But I just wanted to point out that this is a workbench and it has a shelf underneath it that connects to this shelf. I've got 3 levels of shelving here. So a lot of storage potential. For now, I just kind of have some loose stuff that I shoved in here. I've got the scroll saw for when I do some wood carving, which I haven't spoken about much, but I actually have become a wood carver lately, and it's been a very enjoyable hobby. So the workbench here will probably actually get use for carving in the wintertime when it's a little bit chilly outside, and I don't want to do it outside. Now, in terms of what I'm going to be storing in here, I've got my chainsaw on a stick, the hedge trimmer, the weed whacker, I've got loppers, all sorts of digging tools, that weird axe that I found, all my gardening tools, which hopefully now won't be rusty like this anymore. You could see that I left this one out overnight last night. So just having the ability to put these up on the wall is going to improve my life dramatically. So that's going to be in an upcoming video. I have way too many thoughts about how to plan this, but I will be organizing this, and I'm going to be very much looking forward to that moment. One of the weird things that I found in my old shed was this, what I imagine is an angel. I'm honestly not the most religious guy out there, but I do believe in conspiracy and luck. So this was hanging in the old shed, and somehow that shed stood for years. So I am going to put it over here, a little bit out of sight here, but it is here to protect my shed. At least hopefully that's what it's doing. So there is the Tuff Shed in all of its glory. Thank you again to Tuff Shed for sponsoring this video. And now for some details on that giveaway. Tuff Shed has agreed to give away an 8x8 Premier Ranch Tuff Shed. So that will be greatly useful to whoever wins it. It will be 8x8, which is plenty of space to do all sorts of storage, value up to $4,000. So if the shed is under 4K and you want to add something extra, like maybe a window or skylight, you could do anything up to 4,000 value. Anything beyond that, let's say you want to go crazy, throw in a bunch of windows and skylights all over the place, you could definitely do that, but anything over 4K is on you. So to enter this giveaway, you go to tuffshed.com/epic. tuffshed.com/epic. I will put it in the description, but thank you again to Tuff Shed for sponsoring this video. As for future plans, well, I've walked you through it now, and now it's up to me to enact all of those plans. The first one is to organize this workbench of tools, get it on the wall, and then the next step is to start construction on my lean-to out there so I could fully get my garden life organized. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and good luck on winning that shed.